Hey, I'm Shane, and in this video I'm going to do an overview of the infamous rocket launcher called the Gjallarhorn in Destiny. In this video, as usual, I'll go over the stats of the weapon, look at the skill tree, and I'll compare the different options that you have side by side, and I'll briefly talk about how I use the gun. First of all, you get the Gjallarhorn by sacrificing your firstborn child in front of a bungee you actually get it as a random drop, and you can also buy it from Xur. That was sarcasm there, because it's impossible to get this weapon unless you bought it from Xur, which he did the second week and he hasn't done so since. So, if he is selling it, buy it now, but I doubt he will because it hasn't happened yet. So, I'll talk about the looks. The Gjallarhorn looks similar to the crest of the Alpha Lupi, which is an exotic chest piece for hunters and titans. The rocket launcher has an embossed golden winged wolf's head on the top of the gun, and the side panels are a white ivory-like material, and it's very unique. It reminds me of that of a Roman legionary armor, and it's really nice because it's one of the more unique looking weapons in the game, and it's a very nice looking gun as well. It has grown on me over the time because initially I thought it looked kind of cheesy, but it's a powerful weapon, so it's not that cheesy. I'll talk about the damage now and stop gawking about the looks. The Gjallarhorn is unmatched pretty much for single shot damage, and that's because of its skill tree. It does solar damage, and it has 3 different recoils you can choose from. I'm not going to compare these side by side as I usually would, but I'll talk about them briefly. The ones that you have are soft launch, confined launch, or smart drift control. And of these 3, I recommend confined launch because it gives you the highest velocity. And with a rocket launcher, velocity is key, so I'd go with that one. The next up is the tracking. This is a common perk on rocket launchers, and it's really useful because you can actually target enemies from a long distance away and not worry about them moving slightly and the rocket missing. It only tracks when you're aiming down sights though, so just remember to aim down sights before you fire the rocket. It will make a beeping sound when it's locked on. The next 3 upgrades are quick draw, which allows you to draw the weapon very quick, snapshot, which allows you to aim the weapon very quick, and then speed reload, which as its name implies allows you to reload the weapon very quickly. All these perks are useful, but I find the most use out of the speed reload because often I'm picking up like 4 shots of heavy ammo at a time if I'm doing something, and at that point I want to fire all 4 shots as quickly as possible, and having the speed reload allows me to take out the enemies quicker that way. The last upgrade is Wolfpack Rounds, as this is essentially what makes the weapon so powerful. These are like cluster grenades that you'd find on a rocket launcher, but instead of just bouncing around, they actually turn into homing grenades. So then you shoot it, and then after initial detonation, the rocket's little grenades will spam out, and then they'll come back in and target that enemy again, dealing almost double damage sometimes. And if that enemy's killed, it will target another enemy nearby, or multiple enemies. So you don't need to worry about wasted damage each shot. This makes it super useful against heavy enemies because you can deal a lot more damage. And in the Crucible, you can deal a lot more damage on multiple targets because the grenades will spread out and hit multiple enemies. The max ammo capacity with the Gjallarhorn is like 6 shots typically if you're wearing the raid boots, 4 shots if you're not. And it has 2 shots in a magazine, which is nice. It's not very high, but it's better than 1, so I'll deal with it. The Gjallarhorn is useful in PvP and PvE, but I find the most use out of it when running a raid or strike, because it's most effective against high health enemies because you're not wasting damage with a 1-shot kill. But if you're by yourself, it's also very useful because you can essentially take out 4 major tier enemies or that final boss in the mission in just several shots, and it makes things go much quicker. And it's handy for dealing with daily missions on a high difficulty. Online, the Gjallarhorn again is very effective, but the thing is it's a heavy weapon, and its effectiveness is limited by how much ammo you have, and you don't want to have your game getting controlled by if you have heavy ammo or if you don't have heavy ammo. And it's not as effective as having a primary exotic weapon which you can use constantly. But in the Crucible you can kill pretty much an enemy every time you take a shot. If you miss them, the Wolfpack Rounds can still damage them very heavily, if not kill them. So it's very useful, and if you have it, use it. It's fun, but it's not the best go-to weapon. So overall, the Gjallarhorn, in my opinions, may be the most useful exotic to have in the game. In most situations, it can still do incredibly well. It's not like the Icebreaker where it's situationally useful. It's pretty much useful in any situation. It's unfortunate that this weapon's so rare to get, but it's also nice because the people that do have this weapon at least have something unique, and in a game where everything's random, It's kind of nice to have something that makes you stand out from the pack. Thanks for watching the video, and if you have any questions, just drop a comment below. I'd love to answer them. And please consider subscribing if you liked this video, and maybe drop a like on the video if you did. Thanks for watching though, and I hope you have a great day.